this.
God, this looks
Look at
like
look to our left. Look how many people there are. Oh my god.
Oh, dude, look
No way.
Look at the Huey. Look at the Huey.
Oh, it's an APC.
Holy crap!
Guys, you
What?
can get into the tank.
What?
I guess other people stole the shit.
Hey guys, Drewski here, and today we are playing Ground War in Call of Duty. First off, I haven't actually made a video yet about Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I've been out of the house, just came back from going to the hospital with my brother for his cancer treatment, and so when I got back, I immediately hopped on the Call of Duty beta and started playing. And first off, I'm actually very, very pleasantly surprised. It is better than I expected, and I am having a lot of fun in this game. Now, I never really super hardcore played many Call of Duties. I think the one that I probably played the most was Black Ops 2, but I've been playing them about since the first Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And this game, bringing it back to that Modern Warfare era, is one really exciting thing for me, but the main things are that are really like kind of not just making me excited for the game, but also surprising me about the game are the new mechanics, like the double sprint mechanic, where you can do a normal character sprint, but you can also do a temporary, really, really fast sprint and put your weapon up in the air and go super hard into a room. And then you can do the sliding technique that's in every Call of Duty now, and it's just a really, really smooth game. Like, the mechanics of reloading while aiming down sight are really good. There's so many different mechanics in here. I haven't written them down. I'm trying to make this video and pop it out really quick so I can get it to you guys this morning. But there's a lot of mechanics in this game that are surprising me, and I think that with this game coming out with a lot of maps and a lot of good content flow after its launch, this could be probably one of the most successful CODs, I think, ever. It has just a lot of creativity. Although it is boots on the ground, it's back to kind of the World War II sort of gameplay now. I think that unlike Call of Duty World War II, this game actually brought in a lot of new features and a lot of new creative ideas into the Call of Duty franchise that will possibly make this game go really, really far and not just be another Call of Duty that dies in a year. But as we were playing the beta, a mode called Ground War dropped. Ground War is the 32v32 mode, and this is nuts. Battlefield now has a competitor. Call of Duty is now directly competing with Battlefield in a larger scale, kind of massive multiplayer battle sort of scenario. 32v32 is chaotic on this mode, I'll be honest. I kind of wish for more of a 16v16 or a 20v20, because when you had 32 versus 32 on this sort of map in particular, which I believe there's only one map available right now, yeah, little bit chaotic. There's a lot of interesting map design choices, and I really like this mode for kind of at least being there. You know, having the possibility of playing a 32v32 in a Call of Duty game gives me another game where I can have that large scale combat and play it on my console if I want to, which is always nice. Having any other game just have a large scale sort of combat mode is always a lot of fun, and having it in Call of Duty is definitely well received in my book. But it's not exactly perfect yet. There's still a lot of issues that I feel like have been actually fleshed out in Battlefield and actually fixed in Battlefield years ago. So things like the map design of certain objectives, the respawning techniques, the overall map view whenever you're spawning into an objective, and kind of being able to spectate your teammates before you spawn in on them and make sure that there's nobody shooting at them whenever they spawn in. Because, yeah, it was bad. The spawn points in this game are not done yet, for sure. Even in the normal gameplay modes where it's 8v8, you know, just domination or something, yeah, the spawn points are not perfect yet. Trust me, they are not perfect. I was spawning in within line of sight of people sometimes, getting killed instantly around corners. Like, I would spawn, run around a corner, die. Like, just super, super fast. Even if the enemy wasn't within line of sight, they'd be running around a corner about to watch me just appear in the air. And so it wasn't exactly a perfect spawning system, and that did carry over to Ground War quite a bit. Ground War, we had a moment where we were spawning on this railway that went through the center of the factory, and all of the enemies were up on the roofs of this railway, plus there was a LAV or some sort of like APC that was sitting in the middle of the railway just shooting the guys that that were just appearing on the railroad tracks. And it wasn't the best experience ever, but it was something that could definitely be fixed. These are all problems that are beta. You know, this is a beta of the game, so I can't really complain too much about those. I'm just saying that there are some kinks that are needing to be worked out about Ground War. I know you guys want to know my opinion on this sort of stuff, so that's my honest opinion. I'm impressed, but it does need some fixing. Things that are like map design, though, are different. I feel like although we give Battlefield crap for being, you know, pretty similar every year or something, Battlefield has worked out a lot of the kinks that come with a large-scale Conquest 32v32 game type. Like, if I go and play Battlefield 1 or Battlefield 4 right now, especially Battlefield 1, it feels very, very good in terms of balance, especially for team balance, spawn location balance. Battlefield, they've got it worked out. They've got it, like, down. I mean, they've had so many games of the same exact game mode to figure out how it works and figure out really the chemistry of that mode. And in Call of Duty, trying this for the first time, obviously their map design isn't perfect and their spawn locations aren't perfect. So the objectives are kind of wonky. The way the mechanics work of, like, the radar is kind of wonky as well. The weapon distance is also interesting. Like, weapon range, I feel like at medium to long range, those medium to long range firefights are kind of just awkward. You can't really easily kill people at those ranges. Now, again, this is beta and I don't have all the weapons unlocked, but I feel like even with the DMRs and snipers, it just was awkward trying to snipe in that game. You really couldn't tell what was happening with your sniper rifle whenever you were trying to shoot something at a very, very far distance. You couldn't really see where your rounds were hitting. Plus, it's kind of confusing trying to learn that there is bullet drop in Call of Duty Modern Warfare, I think, but then there's bullet speed that's faster than the speed of a bullet in real life. So it's kind of odd. There's all this kind of weird mixture of things that aren't fully completed, aren't fully refined and you know, polished yet. And so it does have a very, very good representation of the potential of this game mode, and that if a lot of these little tiny problems are fixed in the future, then it could be something really, really big. But man, I enjoyed it a lot. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it. I'm trying to really nitpick the problems that I had in the game mode, because I overall enjoyed it a bunch. I mean, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the weapons and the weapon handling and the movement is just so good. It is so smooth. The recoil, the ADS speed, everything is really, really nice. I would say the only thing I could really complain about is I would like snipers to be able to aim down sight a little bit faster just to balance them. But snipers are also almost always a one-hit kill at medium to close range, so there's also that sort of balance there too. And I think as well we could bring in some sort of, you know, system to kind of bring in some more equipment into that Call of Duty Ground War game mode. Having Battlefield have C4 and all these different abilities like spawn beacons or rockets to take out vehicles and such. I know those features are already kind of in Ground War at the moment already, but have them more fleshed out. And there's some things that we can take from Battlefield as well, like spawn beacons in particular, that I think keep the squad together really, really well. I think the map as well is a little bit too crunched up, especially for 32v32. It kind of turned into an outdoor metro sort of situation where there's a lot of players in one area, but there's so many angles that it was kind of impossible to not die, especially with the hundreds of kill streaks raining down all at once. I wonder if this sort of chaotic fun is what Call of Duty wanted, or if they're going to go for a more controlled, like, hey, I can survive if I really, really try, sort of like Battlefield, where there's not a lot of things in Battlefield, especially like Battlefield 4, that you can die by on accident, or that it's totally not your fault, or that, you know, just some crazy kill streak just came in, unlike the, like, maybe the C-130 or something. But other than that, there's really nothing in Battlefield that you're just like walking in an open field, you're making sure your angles are all covered, and then you just go boom. Because like in Call of Duty Ground War right now, there's helicopters, and there's Hinds, and there's the Harrier jets, and there's Predator missiles, and A-10 gun runs, and just like, you'll just be running across the field and then just gone because Predator missile. So that kind of chaotic death is interesting, as well as the just a pure amount of players within a closed area. Not really closed, but just a small open area. And that means that there's always a player watching those main corridors, or paths throughout the map. I think what would benefit Ground War a lot is to have a larger area itself. If you were to really go full force with this and, you know, start spreading out the objectives on the maps to make it a bigger area, I think that this map was great for possibly a 16 versus 16 or a 20v20, but 32v32 just felt really cramped. And even though this map is big, there's a lot of different buildings, I don't think the objectives were spread out in a good enough sort of method that the players were also spread out. Players just got stuck around the 2 center objectives, and that center factory is just, it just turned into an Operation Metro in there, which is good if you're playing Battlefield, and Operation Metro works because of the player limit being, you know, usually if you're playing Metro, it's maybe a 16 versus 16 player game, and it's perfect. It just feels perfect. That feels like the perfect amount of players for that sort of situation. But in Ground War, you're playing with just way too many players in one location. So what I would like to see in Ground War is Ground War, but in a Battlefield-sized map. This map was like Operation Metro, but with 64 players, and that never really plays out amazingly. So if I could see this map going to a larger area, or a more, I don't know, I'm not a map designer, but I feel like that's just what this game mode needs. I feel like it could slow down the game mode a little bit, lower the chaotic craziness of it, and leave it to more of a tactical pace, which I think is what Modern Warfare is trying to go for, is a more tactical pace, especially with a lot of the different mechanics, like the sprint running being a little bit slower than World War II, but also having that super sprint, as well as the kind of overall lowered ADS speed of sniper rifles as well. It seems like it's going for a more realistic tone, especially also with the faster time to kill. So I'm interested to see where this is going to go in the future, and I think that this game mode definitely has a bunch of potential. What I'm also very interested in seeing is how Battlefield is going to react to this. Is Battlefield going to throw out a modern, you know, military shooter in 2020, or are they going to go with another, you know, World War II or Cold War era or futuristic Battlefield? Are they going to go with something different, or are they going to answer the call of kind of seeing that everybody's really enjoying Modern Warfare for, well, being modern and being modern military warfare game? And I wonder if they're going to go, maybe people want modern military warfare again, because most of the people that I talk to, I'm not just saying this because this is my opinion, I'm saying this because this is what I hear most of my audience saying, is that my viewers, my audience that I talk to on my Discord and the YouTube comment section, they all really do prefer that modern military shooter. And when we talk about Battlefield in a video, people go, man, I kind of wish it was just like a Battlefield 3 remaster, or a Battlefield 4 remaster, or a new modern military Battlefield game. That's what the people want. And when there's been 2 Battlefield games in a row that are not modern military, well, people are kind of sitting there twiddling their thumbs waiting for another one. I mean, Battlefield's most popular titles have always been modern military, with the exception of Battlefield 1, because its marketing was just so dang good and it was such a creative and surprising game. But in the end, people still want to go back to that modern military shooter just because that is what works best. I think that that is the best way to really flesh out vehicles and weapons and gear and equipment. It leaves just enough technology to create this kind of creativity bubble for the developers of the game to make new devices and new features with, but it also leaves just enough realism to still immerse you in the combat. So yeah, what do you guys think about the new Call of Duty Ground War? Do you think Battlefield is going to react? Do you think that this is going to be a competitor against Battlefield, or do you think that this is just another Call of Duty game mode that's going to be swept under the rug in a few months after it releases? I'm interested to know what you guys think about it. Definitely comment in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next one.